Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me. So this is everything my daughter and I read the month of January, and this is my little homemade book log that my daughter made me for Christmas, and I'm going with it. It's very simple, which I like. It just has title and author, and I just am doing a different highlight color for each month. So this is the month of January. I read 6 books, and some of those I carried over from like November, December, and I just finished them this month. Okay, you guys, so the first one is Susanna Clarke, The Wood at Midwinter. I apologize if the lighting's going a little bit. It's afternoon, and it's kind of in and out, so I'm trying to get this video filmed today because I hardly ever have time, and today's a good day for some reason with different things. But yeah, so thank you for being here. This is Susanna Clarke, The Wood at Midwinter. I don't know what to call this. It's like a short. I don't know if you call it a novella. It's almost like I think it's like almost like an adult. I think it's like for adults. I'm not exactly sure. A chapter book. I was really surprised how short it was. I just read it really quick, like in one sitting, because it was just so short. It's illustrated, and it's about this girl who's obsessed with nature. Not obsessed, but like she loves nature. She almost prefers nature to humans, and she wants to go in the woods all the time. And it's this like story of this girl and her relationship with this animal, and it's really hard to describe. My library didn't have it, so I just took a chance and kind of got it on Amazon. I'm gonna link everything for you guys that I show in the video too. But sorry if you hear my baby in the background. He's playing in the next room. But so anyway, so I just thought it was like really, I don't know. It's just like hard to describe. It's just like a beautiful little artsy book, and I loved Piranesi. And I knew I'd probably love this, and I did. And I can't wait to read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Yeah, so this one is The Secret Garden, a graphic novel adapted by Mariah Marsden, illustrated by Hannah Luechtefeld, based on, of course, the classic by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And I love Little Princess. I love Little Lord Fauntleroy. And I love A Secret Garden. So I really, really wanted to read this one. My library didn't have it. I took a chance and got it for myself, and I want my daughter to read it too. It's just beautiful illustrations, like nice pastel, soft colors, and it's like very cottagecore. If you're not familiar with the story, go read the original right now. It's like one of the most phenomenal children's classics I ever read in my entire life. I love it. It's all about an orphan who arrives to her uncle's estate, which she finds this like garden and all these other things about herself and self-discovery and coming of age. And this is like a really, really good adaptation. I really liked it. So I'm really looking forward. I believe there's a Heidi version and Anne of Green Gables, and I want to get both. Heidi, I believe, is like coming out in February. I want to pre-order it, and then Anne of Green Gables, my library has it, so I want to check it out, or I want to collect all three. Okay, so this, I'm definitely going to mess up the name, but I'm just going to say The Art of Living, the Classical Manual on Virtue, Happiness, and Effectiveness. And this name, I always pronounce it wrong, but it's Epictetus, like, Stoic philosophy. This is like a short little book that I just finished in January. And, it's all about just like Stoic philosophy and things like that. I will be honest, like, I always try to read Stoic philosophy. It just never, like, I get it, but like, I don't. It's hard for me to like embrace that thought model. Of course, not just from reading one book, but like, I don't know. Like, I to me, this is not a book I'm probably going to end up keeping. I might ask my husband if he wants it, but it's just really short and just all these things about life. Yeah, I don't know. I read it. Yeah. So this is another, what do you call it, like non-fiction-y type book. This is, I think it's Johann, if I'm saying that correctly, Johann Hari, and I think it's Johann Hari, Lost Connections, Why You're Depressed and How to Find Hope. Okay, this was one of those books I actually got rid of and actually like sold back to Half Price Books like years ago, and I regret it because I never really stopped thinking about it because I wanted to reread it. So, with me personally having a baby, I had a baby in my 40s, happy surprise, happy accident, I'm gonna call it that, but and I've just been feeling kind of like isolated and lonely living in the city that I live in. And so I don't really have family around me. And then even the family that I have, like literally in another state, we're not close at all, for many different reasons I'm just not going to go into to bore you guys. But so after having a baby, it kind of made me feel like I just wanted to like regain connections, I guess. So I really wanted to read this book. And he of course talks about that, about our disconnection as a society from people and community, and how like, we've moved into cities and things are so much different. Even like from my own childhood personally, in the family that I kind of had, they've changed so much. Like people, we don't have get-togethers anymore, and like I don't really, maybe they just don't invite me. I don't know, like a lot of the matriarchs in a family, once they kind of got to a certain age or passed away or something like that, like things have changed, I've noticed. And then like even with friends, like people move and people change, and it's just so I really wanted to kind of like focus on like maybe regaining connections, and this was kind of like a jump start for me. But I just kind of wanted to reread it and kind of touch base with it, and I think it was helpful. I mean, he pretty much talks about the positive things that can come from having a community and connections with people in other ways. Now getting there is hard, and he doesn't really like, other than trying to find your community, trying to find a group by putting yourself out there, by joining things. And I'm an introvert and I'm shy, so it's very hard for me. But like, all I'm gonna say is I read it at the right time, but I'm still kind of feeling pessimistic about me personally making connections, in-person connections and stuff like that. But like, I needed to read it, and I'm glad I reread it, and I do recommend it. I think it's I also think it's like a nice personal memoir, almost not memoir, but like his experience with depression. He's not just like a journalist or an author writing about this depression. He also struggles with anxiety or depression. I think mostly depression, like disconnection, and he talks about his own family and stuff like that. I found it really interesting. Okay. So the last book for you guys, I have another book from the library that I don't have with me, but I'll tell you guys, it's one of my favorite books of all time. But this one is Pollyanna Grows Up, Eleanor H. Porter. So this one is the second one to Pollyanna. This is like, I guess, like a children's classic / middle grade type novel. I'll be honest with you guys, like I really, really, really was excited to finish this book. So it kept my interest, and the writing's really good. The writing's really good, but I kind of feel like I don't know if it really needed a second book. Now, the way the first Pollyanna ended, I'm not going to say it, you guys. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend the first one, Pollyanna. I loved it. It was a refreshing take on like gratitude. I really loved that. But the ending was kind of like, I don't want to say, all I'm going to say is me personally, I don't want to give it away. Me personally, I wasn't satisfied with the ending of the first Pollyanna. So that's what drew me to pick up this book. But if the first Pollyanna would have ended a different way, then I probably would like this book even less. But I kind of feel like it did wrap things up. So I see why she wrote it. I just didn't enjoy it as much, I guess. And that's common, right? It's hard. I felt like that about the Anne of Green Gables series. I felt like that with Little House on the Prairie. Like a lot of series, it's hard for me to top the first one. So I'm glad I read it though. If you guys read the first one, and you're interested in like what happens after the big stuff that happens in the first one, I recommend picking it up. But if you really just want to get into reading Pollyanna, like you don't have to read the second one. But I really liked it. And so then you guys, the next one I don't have in front of me because I returned it to the library, but it is Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. And I have another book by Claire Keegan I'm going to show you when I show you what I'm currently reading. And so Claire Keegan wrote Foster, and Foster made my top books of 2024, I believe. And Small Things Like These was phenomenal. It was about this man's life. He has like a family with daughters, and he has, I don't want to give too much away without having the book jacket in front of me. He basically, like his mom had him, I don't know if you would call her, like his mom had him when she was like young, I believe, and like he never met his father, which I relate to that. I'm kind of like an orphan, and he he wasn't like an orphan, but his mother, I believe, did. I don't want to give too much away, but I'll say it's just phenomenal. It's a short novel. You can read it pretty quickly. It's a short novel, and it's packed with emotion, and the timing is perfect. Her writing like that, same for Foster. If you just want to read literary fiction that's like almost perfect, like the way it's written about someone's life, a short fragment into their life and a little bit about their background without giving too much away. It's just basically about emotions and things that happen in life and kind of him reflecting back, because I believe he's like middle age, which I'm like, middle age too, but in small things like these. So I'm on a Claire Keegan little kick, and I checked out So Late in the Day by Claire Keegan. This is actually short stories, and I'm never the type of person to read short stories. Like, it's just, not never, you guys. I'm just not a big short story person, but because her writing is so phenomenal, I want to check it out. So this is, I believe it's 3 stories. And so yeah, so now, because it's hard for me to read long novels right now, I talked to you guys about that in my book cart video, because I have a 5-month-old and he takes so much of my time, of course. I just don't have the time to invest, but so I'm really looking forward to reading these short stories by her. And then this I actually requested from my library. This is the same author, probably gonna mess up her name, I'm just gonna say it, Akaiko, sorry, I'm not laughing at her name, I'm just laughing at myself. Akaiko, last name Myakoshi. This is the author, this is the same author. I checked this book out, sorry you guys if the light's kind of dim, I already told you, I apologize. I checked this out, The Way Home in the Night. This is a picture book. I checked it out years ago, I believe. I really love the illustrations, they're really beautiful. It's just a simple little story about this little animal walking home and all the things that the little animal sees and tell its mother. My mother carries me through the quiet streets, and the illustrations are gorgeous. So I just saw, it's just a beautiful little quiet picture book. It'd be really nice to read at night. And then this one's Little Shrew by the same author. And this one's brand new. Like, it just came out, I believe, in like literally like this year. And so maybe not, let's see. Okay, no. Okay, I just discovered it then. Okay, so it was first published in Japan in 2022. Not sure when the translated was printed, but the point is, I just found out about this book and I wanted to buy it, but I believe it's a children's book. But it's kind of like in a weird, like, I don't know what you call it, like a chapter book, a long picture book. I'm not sure. But it says, Little Shrew lives a quiet life. He's a hard worker and he follows a strict schedule from morning to night. Then one day he finds an item that fills his heart with dreams for the future. Okay, so it's just a quiet little book. So I requested it from my library, and I'm always happy when they purchase a book that I request because they don't have it. And I'm kind of glad that I requested from the library. I don't know. It's one of those books that you read and you're like, yeah, it's a quiet little nice moment that I just had. But it's just a short little cute story. Maybe what it is she's so interesting. This writer illustrator is so interesting. I just wanted more. It's hard to even describe, but it's cute, quirky, I guess you could say, about a little shrew. Okay, guys, since I'm also reading multiple things at once, I'm about to start this. I just finished Little Shrew, and then I really wanted to try other books by Angela Carter. This is, I really love The Magic Toy Shop, one of my favorite books from last year. This is 3 books in one. So then there's The Infernal Desire Machines of Dr. Hoffman, and then Wise Children. I'm going into these without reading anything about them. I never do that, but I loved her writing so much. I love her prose. It's really, really well written prose and interesting and almost just very poetic. And I discovered her last year, so I can't wait to try these other 2 books by her because I loved The Magic Toy Shop. And then the other book is an ongoing book, you guys, which is like a children's book, but I just want to show it again. This is Usborne 365 Illustrated Stories and Rhymes. And some days I honestly forget because my baby is only 5 months and he really has no interest, because he's only 5 months, of course, in this at all. Like, I read it out loud. Some days it's like a short little story and I'll just like read it to myself because it feels like I'm accomplishing something if I don't get to read anything else that day. Okay, you guys, now my daughter is going to talk about what she read in the month of January. Guys, so this is her little student planning notebook by School Nest for homeschool, and then she has her book log. Okay, so how many books did you read in the month of January?
4 books, and I'm currently reading 2 books.
Okay, so let's show what you read
So let's start with this. This was the first book I read.
So Shady Hollow Mystery. Oh yeah. So my daughter, I let my daughter read the Shady Hollow Mystery series, which I think is technically written for adults.
So this is Summer's End by Juno Black, the last book.
It's a little cute animal mystery series of animals that live in this town, and you have Vera the fox, who's a reporter, and she solves the crimes, and the crimes are not like gross and grisly and like very like something that I would think she couldn't, shouldn't be exposed to. Nothing like that where they give details of the crimes or anything. So how'd you like it?
I liked it a lot, and
By Juno Black, we didn't say the
Yeah.
author. Okay, so next is she's finishing up the Lord of the Rings.
yeah. So it's the first 3 books, not including The Hobbit.
So you finished the Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers.
And I'm currently reading The Return of the King.
So how do you like the Lord of the Rings?
I like it. It's very dense, but that's like I like that about it.
Really glad she's liking this because so many people love these books, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's like all.
So you also read.
Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson.
So what do you think of this classic?
I liked it. At first, it was kind of slow and not very interesting, but then it got more interesting as it went.
So it's about a pirate.
Well, it's about this boy who finds a treasure map, and him and a few other people he knows goes out on a trip to find the treasure.
Okay. So I'm really glad. I'm really trying to get her to read more classics in 6th grade and definitely 7th grade going forward. She usually reads mostly fantasy, and I'm glad this year and last year she's really stepping out of her comfort zone. So I like that she read that. And then this is what she's currently reading. I'm sorry if you hear that. That's my baby with a teether. If you hear that noise. Okay.
So this is I'm a Cat by Soseki Natsume. It's a Japanese book, and it's like this cat, and he's very critical of like Japanese like his owners, and like basically just criticizes them, and like just it's his daily life and
Of the cat, from the perspective from the cat.
yeah.
So I actually bought this book for myself. We both found it at Barnes & Noble. I took a chance on it. I personally just couldn't get into it. I liked the writing. I liked the fact that it was from the perspective of a cat. But I don't know. It just wasn't the right book for me at the right time, and I'm glad she is enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, so that's everything we read or are currently reading in January. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day or night. Take care. Bye.